All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Plotcast with me, Zosor, and my friend Otis.
Hey guys.
We're reviewing today the first episode of House of the Dragon, the prequel from Game of Thrones. Otis here has never ever seen anything, maybe a minute or two from the Game of Thrones episodes, nor has he read a lot, like you read two chapters, right, from the first book. And then
Or
you
two,
quit
three, maybe four, I don't know.
from
I tried twice.
A Song of Ice and Fire, you mean?
Yeah,
So there's.
yeah. But it's the one in Dutch that I have is the one with the series cover. So that was the product tie-in
Mhm.
republishment. And then I think I still have it actually here, your copy of the
Could
book
be.
in English.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so this series is based on a prequel book that George wrote. Um, but it's not in the same style as the main books. It's more like he wrote the book through the eyes, like you're reading a history book actually written by the maesters. So those are like the I guess the scientists of the era.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you always have to look at what you're reading in kind of a way like, oh, is what they're saying true, or are they trying to, embellish things or hide stuff? So that's why this show is a little bit more free to do what they want in comparison to Game of Thrones, which was supposed to be very true to the books, which turned out a little different, but let's not go into that right now.
Yeah, if there are no more books, you kind of have to do something. Eh? I
Yeah,
mean, it's not the showrunner's fault that George R.R. Martin takes forever to finish his books. Eh?
of course, but they didn't know where it was gonna go, and I think if they had just asked George, he would have been happy to oblige them and say
Per
you should do this or
every
this.
article on the internet, that's what they did. So maybe he's now going to revise how he's actually going to end the series after the initial feedback.
I hope not.
So add another 5 years before you can read your book.
Huh. Yeah, well, okay, let's not go into that whole story right now. Let's just focus on this series from just the same perspective as we have been doing with the Orville and Arcane, just as a standalone thing, right? Um,
All right.
well, I guess let's just jump into it.
So we get our Lord of the Rings opening narrator,
Yeah.
the woman who tells us a bit what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at something called House Targaryen
Mm-hmm.
in the year 101, where
Mm-hmm.
an heir has to be chosen. And basically, the whole premise is they're the best family ever. I
Yeah.
mean, from a military
Yeah.
and ruling
Because
perspective,
they
and
have
nobody,
dragons.
yeah, and nobody can beat them.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is the only way this house will ever fall, which I do know will happen, because the king in the opening chapters of the book is
Mm-hmm.
not a Targaryen.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way they will fall is due to internal strife, and I'm assuming that what we will watch now over 10 episodes is that internal strife that broke the once proud house Targaryen.
Okay.
So they have to choose between their crown princess Rhaenys and between the eldest son Viserys.
Viserys,
Am I?
yeah.
Okay, so they have to choose between those two to see who will rule after the current king is dead. And he left it open to election by the lords who serve him, if I
Yeah.
understood correctly. And the lords choose the man over the woman. And I
Yes.
kind of get a feeling throughout the first half of this episode that that's going to be a theme.
Yeah, I think it's also a big theme in this series about, yeah.
That's what I say. I
Uh,
think the next 9 episodes we'll go into there further, but
uh-huh.
I really noticed it.
Yeah. Um, well, I guess it is an interesting theme to go over, and I guess I hope they will do it well.
Mhm.
I
In what room do they actually make that decision? Because that was not the Iron Throne room, eh?
Isn't it? Wait, let me check.
It looked
No,
more.
it's probably the Great Sept. So like the church, let's say the
Ah,
Great
yeah, yeah,
Basilisk,
yeah, yeah. The
Basilic.
sept, the clergy. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So it's a High Septon who is the neutral one in this case to open the chest and proclaim the king or
All
queen.
right. Okay. And then we jump, let's call year 101 then as year 1 of King Viserys. So now we jump to year 9 of King Viserys.
All right.
Because our intro theme is, what, 4 or 5 seconds of a logo and that's it. So not a lot to talk about
Yeah,
there.
I hope they actually make an intro song. The intro song from Game of Thrones was really epic, in my opinion, and all the
Well,
music.
it came up in the next scene, the remixed, and then I think the credits sounded like the normal theme. Eh?
Yeah, yeah, I
So it
guess.
does come back a
Yeah.
lot.
So here they say 172 years before Daenerys Targaryen, which is to someone who hasn't watched Game of Thrones doesn't mean a lot. Um,
The bathtub chick.
yes, uh, indeed. And
I
then,
told you I know it from memes. That's all.
yeah. And then we open up with a dragon flying across the clouds, across King's Landing is what the city's called. I'm not sure if that was clear.
Yeah,
Uh,
that does come up when a bit later our
mhm.
potential crown prince goes on his little rampage.
Yes, yes, yes. So here we see something we've never seen in Game of Thrones is how they actually handle the dragons with confidence instead of what we get to see in Game of Thrones. Because there are also dragons there, but not in the same way as here.
Mm.
Uh,
But there the dragons have been gone for a long time, and it's a
yes,
big thing that our Targaryen girl there manages to hatch eggs. Eh?
indeed. Yes.
Okay. See again the memes.
hmm
Those are the memes.
Apparently, it was very mimetic. Is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so we meet Rhaenyra, who's just got off a dragon and seems like she just got a shower. But that aside,
Yeah,
uh,
but is apparently dirty and smells of dragon, even though she looks perfectly fine.
yeah, yeah, that's true. I didn't notice that. Yeah. So we meet her and her friend Alicent. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, well, not much to say about this really.
You
Uh,
know, they get on a coach. We ride to the keep. We get already a bit an idea of. To be honest, in this first episode, I know it's gonna change. It has to, but it's very Disney princess. Huh?
yeah,
The independent girl who
yeah,
doesn't want to fit into the
true.
normal model that she needs to fit into.
True, and there's something that comes up. I don't know if this scene or later, but at some point, Alicent is like talking to her as if she uh, like expects to inherit the throne.
Well,
Um,
she is still the firstborn, so it's a later discussion. It's when they're in the grove,
hmm
and she's all despondent there and being all negative.
yeah.
Where there's, they have the test on marriage and things like that.
hmm
That's where they have that discussion, where Allison is more like, "Don't you care?" and na 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 na, and she's more like, "No, I just want to keep doing my thing." Though that's probably also not right.
Well, it's strange to me that Rhaenyra would have any notion that she would inherit the throne because um, as as of now, as of her time, there's never been a woman on the
Yeah,
Iron
yeah.
Throne,
She clearly expects her uncle to
yeah,
be king before her,
as she
but
should, I
it's
think. Yeah.
yes, but I think it's not unrealistic that at some point she could be put forward for the throne.
Hmm.
I think in that family, in that kind of life, you kind of have to expect the unexpected.
Hmm.
Also, she's had clearly 5 siblings die before they became siblings, huh? Or was it two stillbirths, one
Yeah,
something else, and then two. Um,
yeah,
yeah, there were five
yeah, yeah, yeah,
children
yeah.
who
So
didn't come to
it wasn't
fruition.
easy
Let's put
at
it
all.
that way.
Yeah. Then she has a
Because that's
talk.
a bit, yeah, because that's a bit before we get to the grove or the garden or whatever you
Yeah,
want to call it. The only other interesting thing is that there we get introduced to the Queen Emma,
yeah,
where Rainier also plays a bit more up that she wants to do her own thing and she has a bit of a back and forth with her mom, and we see that the queen is pregnant, and
yeah.
that's clearly important. We cut from there to the king in what I'm calling the war room because I don't know what they're calling that room.
It's I'm not sure if the room has a name, but it's a small council.
Yeah, if
So
if we were watching Star Trek, it would be the ready room, but we're
yeah,
not watching Star Trek.
yeah.
You know, but they're having a pirate discussion, or at least the only black man in the room is having a pirate
Mm-hmm.
discussion. Where the king and the king's hand of the
Yes.
king,
Yeah.
whatever,
Both
Otto.
work. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're not really. They're more interested in the tournament for the king's upcoming son and
Which
for
I
for
find really strange. So
yes, because it was all like, yeah, there's pirate activity there. There's a figure there launching its own campaign. If we don't watch out, he's gonna become strong and might pose a problem in the future. And they really don't want to listen. I was already like, I don't think this king was the right choice 9 years ago.
yeah. Well, indeed. Well, now that we know Viserys a little bit, I do respect him. But I can imagine Viserys is like, oh, this tourney, or he's like a bit busy with the fact that he might have a son or not, and then the tourney
Mm.
and all that. But I don't understand why the king's hand doesn't care. So I have kind of like suspicion that he, I don't know, might be involved in some way. I don't know.
I
Again,
just, yeah, I don't think the king's hand is there to help the king. Let's put
yeah.
it that way, because it's jockeying for position.
Mm-hmm.
At near the end of the episode, he pimps out his own daughter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Um, yeah, he's always trying to block um, our other
Yeah.
prince, Prince Damon. Though, to be fair, Prince Damon is a brute of a man as well, so kind of
Uh-huh.
makes sense to our sensibilities. But still,
Uh-huh.
there's more going on. I'm wondering if by the middle of the season we'll be able to say that there's any good guys left, because that's the one thing everybody tells me of George R. R. Martin is, yeah, the good guys will die, and only the bad characters will remain to keep
Well,
fighting.
no. Mostly, what the thing is with George is, doesn't really have these black and white characters. So there's only a few characters that you can say, oh, they are good or they are bad. Most, like 90% of the characters, even more, you don't. I mean, you root for them or you hate them, but that doesn't mean they're bad or they're good.
Yeah,
Um,
okay, but so far, let's see. So we've got our King Viserys, who is probably gonna die soon with the whole thing in his back that won't get healed.
mhm,
So that's a bit of a setup. His wife seemed okay, but she's dead.
mhm.
We saw first of Otto Hightower, maybe not a bad guy, but then the ease in which he pimps out his own daughter is like, okay.
Yeah, but
Um,
you
I
do.
think our Prince Damon, yeah, we've only seen him do brutalities in an entire episode, so
Okay, okay, let's slow down. Let's slow down. Let's go one by one. So we have indeed the king, who to me seems like a good enough guy, but he might be a little naive, or as Damon would say, weak.
yeah,
Um,
wait, I would agree that it's not the strongest king for a medieval fantasy setting.
no. And then we have, yeah, Otto Hightower. But one note I would have to make is you say he pimps out his own daughter, but you have to also think about the time where we live, and I don't think it's that unheard of that a father
No,
would,
that's not what I'm saying, but
yeah,
it's not a good thing, eh?
yeah, that's true, but I mean, I wouldn't paint him as a bad person just because he does what everyone else uh, does during that time, pretty much. So I'm not sure if he's bad because of that. Of course,
You
it's
also know that's not an excuse, eh?
he's definitely very opportunistic, I would say.
Mm. He's he'll I'm sure he has ambitions of his own for his family.
Yeah. Um, so and then we have Damon, which yeah, he does brutality, but is he bad? I'm not sure.
The way he behaved at the tourney, he can't deal with the fact that someone might be better than him in
Mm-hmm.
anything. He's very brute there as well in his violence.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw before what he did with the watch, and I agree, it's all for criminals and such, but
Mm-hmm.
it was brutal, eh?
Definitely
And
brutal.
and everything in the way he speaks to his men and the way he behaves, except towards his niece, but there's something creepy and different there as well to consider.
Mm-hmm.
But only in that way is he a bit different. But towards everything else, everyone else, he is that. He's not a good person.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm still l- holding him in the middle. Like I'm
Mm.
not ready
I
to
think
say
it's
he's
yeah,
bad.
and I think it's because Matt Smith is not an intimidating person on the screen. He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't scream intimidation,
Mm-hmm.
but the dialogue he's given, the acts he's doing, the way he's playing it is that's not a nice guy.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not saying he's a nice guy.
Mm,
Okay. Well, so we have the small council meeting.
hmm
They're talking about the tournament and they're leaving the pirates behind. Um, yeah, so Viserys is pretty much sure he's gonna have a son at this point,
hmm
which is kind of, yeah, okay, you're banking everything on this. That's kind of just stupid,
hmm
but yeah, whatever. He might be a little bit crazy as well.
We've got the Grove next. Then we've got the King's Room where we see that there's an infected wound on his back that they cauterize.
Yeah.
But they say they've done multiple things and it won't heal, so that's to me a bit an implication. Okay, our
Oh,
king might not be king too long because that's good for the conflict.
yeah. First, we have the scene with Rhaenyra and Daemon, where Daemon is like,
Yeah,
"This might be my
yeah,
seat one day."
yeah, where
Yeah,
he's being a bit creepy because Rhaenyra goes to the Iron Throne and her uncle's sitting in it.
yeah,
And then they switch to their weird language thing, which
yeah.
I'm gonna assume is in some way tied to dragons.
It's High Valyrian, so a little bit of history maybe, because I don't think they will actually explain.
Wait,
Uh,
wait, wait. Let me first tell you what I've heard in this episode on Valyria, Valyrian, whatever, and then
mm-hmm,
you can add to it. So, Valyrian was another empire across a sea or something,
mm-hmm,
and they had dragons,
mm-hmm,
and they thought they could control dragons, but it's folly for humans to think they control dragons, and something went wrong, and their entire empire was wiped out. There's
mm-hmm,
also something very special about Valyrian steel that's probably not been reproduced since,
mm-hmm.
and the Targaryens are in some way related to the royal family of Valyrians because it's their ancestry.
Well, I guess they did explain it well then. Uh,
hmm
that's most that I could say about Valyria as well. So yeah, I guess they did well on that
Yeah,
part.
so they did the scene where the uncle's having the conversation with Rhaenyra near the Iron Throne, where he gives her a pendant of Valyrian steel. So
Mm-hmm,
that's where the ancestry comes up. And then when, way at the end of the episode, when the I lost his name for a second.
Viserys.
Yeah, King Viserys talks to his daughter and then pronounces her, I'm gonna make you my heir. Then he also gives some further details
Yeah.
because he talks about the
Yeah.
prophetic dreams and then Song of Ice and Fire and Winter is Coming and that whole bunch.
Yeah.
But that's more than a century in the future, so we shouldn't care.
Yeah. Yeah. So then we have the Grove scene, and I found like one thing
Are they
interesting.
gay?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering as well. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah, because there are a few scenes like that throughout the
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
And there's like an attraction to the commoner born later on that probably will come into play. And there's something between her and the way she looks at her uncle, but the way she behaves with her handmaiden or whatever they call a companion in those days,
Mhm.
Alicent.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're going for.
Yeah. I wasn't sure either, and I think that's kind of maybe they wanna leave it in the middle, just
Mm,
to build up some kind of tension. Maybe I don't know where they're going. So maybe you don't know. So I read the books, but it's been a while, like
mm,
too long. And uh, as I said, the books go from the start of the reign of the Targaryens, so that's like 100 years before, all the
mm-hmm.
way up until a little bit before the start of Game of Thrones era. So it's like a huge history, and this part
Mm-hmm.
that they're showing is only a small part. So the details they're showing right now are completely made up, let's say.
So that book actually gives them like what, another 10 potential series?
Yes, indeed. Indeed, they could do a lot with it, yes. If this goes well, of course. There were some things I thought were pretty shit, to be honest, and I hope they don't go too far with it. But
All
so
right.
this scene is fine, in my opinion. I do like that there might be something going on between them or not, and I do like them playing with the relations between, because it's very, of course, very strange in a royal house, um, where sometimes nieces are wed to each other. You
Mm,
know, niece and nephew are wed,
mm,
and yeah, also the high families like
I
High Tower
think you mean cousins,
cousins. Yes,
niece and uncle, nephew and aunt,
it happens.
cousins.
It happens. Yes. So and then they yeah, then they next scene. Oh yeah, the wound scene.
Yeah, not
Uh,
a lot to say. It's something infectious on his back
hmm.
that they imply might be because of the Iron Throne,
Yeah. Well, it is because of the Iron Throne.
and later on he cuts himself again on the Iron Throne.
Yeah, the Iron Throne is
Mm.
made out of swords.
Yeah,
Maybe someone should, I mean, think.
blunt him.
Yeah. But like the tale is like the histories say, oh, Aegon wanted, like Aegon Targaryen,
Mm.
Aegon the Conqueror is the first
Yep.
Targaryen. Oh, he
Who
want.
had a dream
Yeah,
above the Song of Ice and Fire?
yeah, indeed. Uh, and he said like, oh, the throne should not be an easy seat to sit upon, and that's why he made them out of blades, so the king would always be on edge and not just ease back into his position. That
Okay.
that's kind of why they did that, and I guess they didn't want to change it, even though
Well,
the throne, like right now, it's way more blades in this part
mm.
than in Game of Thrones. In Game of
That
Thrones,
was gonna be my question because I remember from shots that it wasn't like that. So,
no.
do you know why?
No, it's never said anywhere that at some point they made it more dull or more easy to sit upon, because actually the king, not the king you see in Game of Thrones, but the
Uh,
king after him, cuts himself as well sometimes
okay.
on the throne. So it's
Might just be an aesthetic choice then.
yeah,
They're free to play around with it. Huh?
yeah. Anyway, Otto is like, it has to be kept quiet. We can't let it go out that our king is a weakling. Even
Yeah,
though,
which again to me is a bit he's maneuvering his pieces as well in the
mm,
meantime.
yes,
Because you
yes.
can see it as defending the king, but he knows, so he can use knowledge that his opponents don't know as well at that
Hmm.
point.
Yeah. Well, I think the wound, w- I mean, after they decide to cauterize it, what is that cauterizing? It's like burning it, right?
Yes, yes, that's burning the wound closed, which has its own significant health risks.
Yeah.
If you
Okay.
have an option to get to a doctor, go to a doctor.
Well, this guy is the doctor,
Yeah.
The
If you can
maesters
in
are the
some
doctors.
way, if you can some way stop the bleeding in a different way than cauterizing the wound, go for the different way. Also, risk of shock if you
Yeah.
burn it closed. It's
Yeah.
an infection and a lot of disgusting stuff. And I know there's doctors there, but it's medieval doctors,
Yeah.
medieval fantasy doctors.
Of course. Yeah. It's
But
not the same.
magic's out of the realm except for dragons at this point in history. There's no
Yes.
magic, eh?
No,
Okay.
there's no magic except for dragons. That is known of, I would say. Uh,
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean in broadly known.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, then we jump to Rhaenys. No, Emma.
Mm.
Uh,
Queen in the tub.
yeah. So they have like a little
Yeah, and that's where
conversation.
he says that he has a dream. It's or is he talking Aegon's dream? I don't know. I was very confused by what he was talking about. But he's
Oh.
sure no, it's his own dream because it's based on that dream that he's sure that he has a son
Ah,
and he
yeah, yeah, yeah,
foresees
right.
a
Yeah,
lot of fighting and things in the future, the clash of swords and what have you.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah,
there we get our story wise, okay, this lady's gonna die soon. When she says, "This is my last child, I can't do this anymore," I was sitting there like, "Oh, she's gonna die in birth."
Really?
I hadn't predicted that the kid would be dead. I wasn't expecting that just yet, but I was sure in that scene she's gonna die.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I wasn't sure about that, but I guess. And then we
Mm.
have the best scene. Uh,
Oh!
yeah, it was a little bit strange scene. I do like Damon on the screen, though. I do like him.
Yeah, but
Uh,
Matt Smith is a good actor. Again, so watch Doctor Who. You'll like it.
oh yeah,
He's Doctor number 11.
yeah. Okay,
But yeah, you can start in 2005 reboot, and then you've got Doctor number 9, then
okay.
David Tennant 10, and then Matt Smith 11.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah,
little
he's
bit.
a good actor. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little bit strange that he only now decides to take hold of the criminality because he's been like commander for a while, I would
Yeah, no,
think.
no, but he's giving his whole speech that when he came there, they were a disorganized bunch of scum, basically, and he honed them.
Yeah,
So it's really also the tourney is coming up,
yeah, yeah, true.
and it's because of the tourney. And I really think in so far in this episode, I kind of believe him when he's talking to his brother at the end, that he says, "I would protect you,
Hmm.
because you're weak."
Yeah,
I
I do
kind of
believe him
believe
too.
him. I believe that he did what he did, how horrible it is, but he did it because he wanted to protect his king or his brother,
Yeah,
whatever you want to call it.
it's a bit strange. At some point, they're like a group of people, and then some guy from the guards recognizes, oh, that guy's a murderer, oh, that guy's a rapist, let's rape the rapist, let's murder the murderer. But it's
Oh,
like,
I don't think they raped the rapist. I think they cut his cock off.
ah, did they? Ah,
That's what I
yes.
got from that scene.
Ah, yeah, yeah, his ball. Yeah,
Pull
yeah.
down his pants and you
Yeah, I
hear like
thought they were
something
gonna
cutting
rape
him.
him. Yeah.
No, 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 no.
I guess it's stuck in my head.
Mm,
Yeah, but a little strange that scene
yeah.
though. I mean, how are you? It's, doesn't really not realistic in my opinion.
Rapist cut his cock off, murderer killed them, and thieves cut their hands off.
Yeah, yeah. Why would you hang around there if you're a thief? Like, go to your house.
Oh, well, but they pulled people from their houses. Eh?
Ah, did they? Ah, okay.
Yeah, it was a full-on raid. Eh?
Ah, okay. I didn't notice that. I thought they were just like in a group of like a market or whatever, and then they
When
pulled out
they,
some people.
yeah, they stormed the market, but then they went into all the buildings.
Ah,
They
okay.
followed everyone who ran away.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because
Well,
they will take King's Landing.
a good first impression of Damon doing his duty. Of course, a little bit brutal, but
Enjoying it just a little bit too much.
okay, okay. Yeah, he is psychopath. But is he a
Yeah,
bad psychopath or a good
there,
psychopath?
there's no such thing as a good psychopath. There's just one that hasn't gone wrong yet.
Yeah, okay. But in this sense, I wouldn't say that this act is evil. I mean, it's brutal, but it's not evil, in my opinion.
It's in fantasy medieval land. I really can't. I really can't judge. I
I,
also don't know that society
let's
well enough to.
let's not say it's in fantasy land. Let's say this is just medieval land, okay? It's not fantasy land
No, it
because
is
they're
fantasy
dragons.
land because yeah, the because not
Yeah,
only
but
because they're dragons, but because the dragons very specifically are their weapon of mass destruction.
true. But what does that have anything to do with whether it's evil or not?
They are no, but changes. Balance of power is different. Society is different. It's a different time. It's a different culture. Their entertainment is also crazy brutal. Um, I
Yeah.
would say it's evil, yeah. By my standards and norms, that was evil.
Well, no, let's
But
judge it
they,
by medieval standards.
yeah, but yeah, but I can't. I can just say that at that point, the city guard or city watch or whatever they're called were judge, jury, and executioner. Because there was one guy calling, that guy is dead, and they immediately went through with the punishment
Hmm.
without us knowing at all
Hmm.
how the guy knew. If we
Okay.
had a 5 second scene where, Prince Damon asked for the paper with a list of all the criminals and their crimes, at least you would have an implication of research or whatever.
Hmm.
But the way it's shown now, it's like,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
okay, that guy is clearly a murderer, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's say he's that was kind of evil. Okay?
Yeah.
Kind of on the wrong side of history. Okay. Let's keep it at that.
It's, uh,
I want to root for Damon for some reason. Yeah. Okay, and then we get the small council meeting. What are the damn stones they put on these
I don't know.
plates?
I don't know
I
because not everybody even puts their little round
have no
stone
idea what
in
it
into the
is.
table. I really don't know.
I hope
You
they.
should know because
No, I never seen this. Not
okay.
even in the Game of Thrones. I never heard about it in the books. Maybe I didn't pay
Maybe it's
attention,
uh
but
maybe
no
it's the
idea.
stone. They're just marbles, but they're bigger size, so the dragons can also play. Who
Huh?
knows?
What?
Never mind.
I don't get it. Well, um, yeah, so they're talking about Damon, pretty much what we just said. Otto is like, "Oh, you're a bad guy," and then what's his name? The black guy.
I don't
Uh,
know. I think they mentioned it maybe once or twice.
I know his
I
last
didn't.
name is Valerian, so let's just call
Uh,
him Valerian.
I
He's the
didn't pick
Valerian
up.
guy. He's kind of
And is he the husband of
Rhaenys,
yeah, the woman who would be queen or
who would
whatever they
have been
call it?
queen, the queen who never was.
Oh, the queen who never was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Corlys, Corlys Valerian. I just see it here.
Yeah.
Um,
Just to jump ahead a bit, but our king has no issues with the queen who never was,
mhm.
but prince for a day or whatever it was, that's horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, I also
So
thought it
it's
was.
okay when it's his sister, but it's not okay when it's his son.
Yeah, but he's definitely in that um, scene. Well, let's wait a bit until we go over it because I also have some issues with it. The same as you probably. Anyway, so they have the whole discussion. Oh, this is rightful or this is not rightful. Uh,
Yeah, then they start throwing each other's wives, and there we learn that Otto, his wife recently died,
yes, yes.
and we learn that Prince Damon's wife is off in another part of the country, and he really doesn't respect her at all.
Yeah. I actually forgot that he had a wife, uh, which is logical if we see the next scene where he's together with his favorite whore. Uh,
Hmm.
and then, yeah, they have some talk. Oh, you should be king or whatever. Oh, no, the king can't replace you. You're a good guy. Oh, don't look so sad all the time. Um, and then we have the tourney, which was to me uh, actually pretty bad, in my opinion. There were a
So
lot
you
of.
don't want to stick around in the whorehouse longer? We're going to the tourney.
Well, do you have anything to say about the whorehouse?
Well, I think from a character moment that it was a bit interesting, because through the thing, all we see is he's having, we see some ladies peeping, we see he's having sex,
Hmm.
he can't finish, he wraps the blanket around him in kind of shame or something, and then she
Hmm.
goes supportive, and through her her monologue to him basically, because he doesn't really speak up, we learn, oh, it's more him being worried, and he's worried that he's gonna lose his posting. And then, yeah, with the scene we see later on, that it's already not the first role they pushed him in.
Yeah.
I can kind of follow where his mind is
Ah, you
at.
think he's worried about losing his commander role?
Yeah, I think he's at that point worried about losing his position, going further away from the king and not being able to protect him and his own position.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
do think in his head his own position is playing, but so far I still believe that he wants to protect his brother.
Yeah,
So
I do
far,
believe that too. Yeah.
but
Uh,
that can change.
yeah. Okay. And then we have the
And then
tourney.
we have the tourney with Rhaenyra's being late
Hmm.
and the king announcing that his wife's in labor. And then the jousting begins.
Yeah. Any? Did you like the jousting scene? I did like the jousting scene. This scene, this part of the tourney, was fine.
So here's where we've got our commoner born knight against the two Baratheons.
Um, well, no, he's not commoner born, is he?
Yes, he is. They make a whole point of it that he's born of a common. No, I thought they made a whole point of it to raise it.
Wait, who is this guy? What's this guy's name?
Cole.
Kristen Cole.
And
Yeah,
he's a they mentioned it, and
Dornishman.
now Dornish. Yeah, he's Dornish.
Yeah,
So that's my question to you. Does this matter?
I don't know why. So I have some questions as well. So I guess we'll just have to watch the next episode because I can't answer
Okay, but
correctly.
okay. So isn't the Dorn or whatever, isn't that part of the Seven
Yeah,
Kingdoms?
it is. Yeah,
Okay.
they got they got annexed, I guess, a little bit later than the other kingdoms, but at this point they are part of the Seven Kingdoms. But first I was like, how do they know he's from Dorne just by how he looks? I mean, he didn't look that different from other people, so that was kind of strange to me. Also, if he is a commoner born, then I don't get why he has a last name because normally commoners don't have a last name. They're just they
But he might be half commoner, eh?
yeah. I guess he
Born
must.
out, yeah, you know.
He must be
some
then.
lord went into bed with someone they shouldn't have, but of course they did, and
Yeah,
yeah.
but then he would have had a bastard name. So what happens if a lord, let's say a lord of, in this case, Dorne, a Dornish lord would sleep with a commoner woman, and or any woman he did not marry, and then there would be a bastard born, right? And this bastard would be named in this case Kristen Sand because he was born in Dorne. Sand would be his last name that would mark him as a bastard. So that's why I'm a bit confused about the whole Kristen Cole thing. I hope they give a decent explanation.
There'll probably be something. I think the actor is confirmed for all 10 episodes, so
Hmm.
he'll be back. And they wouldn't introduce him and have him fight here if he wouldn't come back
Yeah,
later.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure he will come back, but I just hope they explain
Hmm.
um, his background decently enough. Like that,
Hmm. Yeah,
where's
yeah, I
his last
understand.
name from? Who's his
Mm.
parents? Like all that kind of stuff, because that's kind of questions I have uh, with all
Well,
this.
yeah. Prince Damon arrives,
Yeah.
and he wants. Yeah, he gets to pick who he fights first.
Which I
So,
found really strange. What? That's kind of privileged, isn't it? I
well,
mean,
until there is a son, he's still the heir apparent.
yeah,
So when there is no heir chosen, the system is heir apparent, and he's the heir apparent. So kind of makes sense, I guess. But he chooses to fight the eldest son of Otto Hightower, and that's where we first hear Otto being called the Hand of the King. So
yeah.
that's how I knew that's his function. Because
Ah,
before I didn't know what kind. He was clearly an advisor of some kind, but I didn't
yeah,
know if it was a minister or whatever. He clearly wasn't a military leader, but I didn't know what he was.
yeah. Well, I kind of deduced it that he was Hans, but indeed I wasn't
Yeah.
sure either until they actually called him that.
Yeah,
Uh,
and here we get the scenes where we learn that Prince Damon is a bad loser.
mm-hmm.
So the eldest son, managed to get a good hit in on the first pass. So on the second pass, Damon chooses, rather than to hit the knight, to put his lance between the legs of the horse.
Yeah, and I heard later that
Mm.
this is not at all within the rules. You can't
Yeah,
do
no, no.
that.
Yeah, but the way the audience reacts and everything is like, yeah, that's clearly not what you can do in jousting. Also, when you see the face of his opponent, the Hightower, yeah, that guy's messed up,
Yeah,
which makes sense. Plate
yeah,
armor fall in that way.
yeah, of course.
Lucky that the horse didn't crush him.
Yeah, indeed. But later on, we do see in the tourney. Um,
Yeah, but we don't even get to later on because to make the insult worse, so he's just wrecked the eldest son of the Hand of the King, and then he goes to the royal box, and he has the daughter of the Hand of the King
yeah,
give her blessing.
yeah,
That's just to pour salt in the wound.
yeah, indeed. I wonder whether she could have actually refused or that she wanted
I
to do
don't
that.
think so. I think politically that was impossible.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Anyway, so he likes to, let's say, get people on edge, especially Otto Hightower.
Mm.
Um, okay.
And then we cut to the next scene.
Which was probably the best scene of the
Yeah,
show.
the labor's going bad. The queen is under opioids and she's still suffering a lot.
Hmm. I do really like the actor from Viserys, so I hope they don't kill him too soon. I really
So
like
they
his
start.
acting.
So Viserys, the actor, I just looked it up because I keep forgetting his name. Paddy Considine. And the entire episode, I was sitting there like, look, I know the guy, but I
Hmm.
don't know where I know him of. So I looked it up, and he's DS Andy in Hot Fuzz. So if you
Oh,
ever watch Hot
I
Fuzz, take
did.
a look at the Andys. He's one of those two Andys who are, always being dicks to Simon Pegg's character.
Oh, I vaguely remember. It's been a
He-
while. Yeah.
He's one of the two Andys.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was like, the second I read that, I was like, okay, now I know the guy. Now I can leave it to rest.
Yeah. Well, I really like him. I hope he
Yeah, but he's
stays.
hmm But yeah, so we get a lot of cuts now between the tourney and the labor, and things are developing a bit,
Which
setting up in
which
general. It
I
was.
think they botched it. I mean, I really like the labor scene,
Mm-hmm.
but like I think they wanted to have the parallel with Bloodsport parallel where the men do the battle on the field and the women do the battle in bed. I
No, I think it's more the way setting up. The king has already told us of his dream, where me as an audience member, I was reading it as, okay, so when your son is born, it's gonna lead to war.
hmm
And these scenes, for me, the brutality, because we really now see night on night crushing each
Yeah,
other's
but
heads and everything,
yeah.
is kind of building on that initial dream, giving us imagery also to reinforce things are not going to go well from here.
Yeah,
And that's
okay.
a bit what I got out of the way this
You're
was
you're
edited.
right, and I think that's also what they were going for. But I mean, why they botched it is two things.
Mm,
Um, this shouldn't happen in a tourney that they are
mm,
actually killing landed knights. Uh,
yeah,
I mean, it's just like a play, like they
mm,
play until someone wins and
yeah,
yields. Uh, there's not
but
gonna be six deaths in.
but but we hear from the queen who never was that these are all green knights, have never known real war, real fights,
Yeah,
and they're just, yeah, hulks of
still,
aggression. Yeah.
still, I think I think it's a
It's
stretch.
also, yeah, it's also showing a kingdom in decline.
I guess, but I couldn't agree with this scene. I mean, the tourney stuff. It
Yeah,
doesn't.
no, no, I understand why it doesn't work for you. I'm just trying to offer a different perspective
Yeah, I
because we
know,
still have to watch 9 episodes.
of course, but I mean, I will definitely watch all 9 episodes just to see where they go with it. It's not because one scene doesn't agree with me. I just hope I mean, they don't do stuff like
hmm
this where they just, oh, let's just kill some landed knights for some scenes. We need some blood on the screen. Uh, I mean, to me, that's what it was, because it's not
Right.
realistic to me. Uh,
Okay. But yeah, we see our fair share of murderous fights, and then we cut back to the king, and he's given the impossible choices. So we've already heard before the labor's going bad, the child didn't turn correctly,
hmm
and then our mice. I think it's a maester and not a scepter. The guy who
Yeah,
speaks to him.
Maester. Yeah.
Yeah. So he says, yeah, every father can be faced with the impossible choice. We can try to save one,
hmm
but if we save a child, we have this procedure. And I was like, the cesarean. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, cesarean in medieval times. Okay, the mother's gonna die,
Yes.
and already there, the second the proposition is given, even more our queen is going to die.
Yes, of course.
And then we cut to Cole versus Damon,
hmm
or at least we know they're gonna fight.
Yeah.
And then the king
One
said,
one more
"Sorry,
thing.
good." Mm-hmm.
Allison, we see Allison like fidgeting with her nails,
Mm-hmm.
till like bloody nails. I wonder
Mm-hmm.
where they are going with that. Not
Well, she's
sure.
also when she's nervous, we know she's also starts biting them because later on, when the queen is dead and her father wants her to go to the king to offer comfort, she also starts biting her nails. So I think it's her tick
hmm
when she's very nervous, and I think all the blood and the brutality was getting to her. I
Sure.
think.
Yeah, yeah. That's also what I got, but I'm just unsure why they're like putting such emphasis on it. Maybe
I
they're
don't know.
it's gonna be like a thing where we have to pay attention. I don't know.
Okay. Could just be her character trait.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. But yeah, the king decides they'll have the cut,
Hmm.
and brave man that he is, he won't even tell her what they're gonna do.
Well, what
Uh,
would you do? I mean, I can't imagine being in that situation.
yeah, I know, but it's a coward's way out.
I
I don't
guess.
know what I would do, but I know what the king did.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I would try to. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, I wouldn't. I'm not. I forgive him. I forgive him.
Luckily, we live in a day and age where we do have proper medicine, things like that,
Of
so
course, but what if you're
complications are
what
less.
if you have what if your wife is pregnant and all of a sudden you're stuck in a cave for 9 months and the baby doesn't want to come out? Then
You know,
you're in the
let's
same
make a pact. Whenever whomever we're with, if they get pregnant, we won't go caving until the baby's there.
Okay, then.
No, not to, I mean, not to make light of it. It's horrible what happens here.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there's not a lot to say. It's a horrible thing that happens.
Mhm.
Then we cut back to our tourney where the prince goes down,
Mhm.
but decides to continue in a contest of arms.
Yeah. And
And
loses.
then and then before he loses, we cut back to the birding room
Mhm.
where the child is alive. And we have rapid cuts. So child is alive. The prince loses because he keeps getting hit by
Mhm.
Cole, who's a bit a better fighter here. Our queen is dead. Um, our Sir Kristen Cole, who's Dornish. And then here I was like, okay, does that matter? I don't know. Asks for the princess's favor.
Mhm.
And then we get, okay, you have a son, your heir, what do you want to call him, Balin, and the baby starts making weird noises. And I was sitting there, oh, are we gonna have a weaker king coming up? And then we get to Funeral by Dragonfire, where we see that the baby is also on there. So it was like, okay.
Which is pretty shocking. I didn't think the kid was gonna die.
Yeah, I
Uh,
thought there was gonna be more of it, but on the other hand, it does work to set up because now there is no
Air.
clear heir.
Mhm.
Also, there's room for contention now, which in medieval times always offered up the room for opportunistic family members.
Yeah, of course. And then the
Yeah.
dragon
Mhm.
breathes fire,
Be-
almost kills five guardsmen who are way too close to the fire. Like right in the face of the. I would get
mhm.
out of there, but sure. Uh, Whatever. I guess Damon is looking like, what should I think of this? Um, and then the succession discussion.
Yeah, I've also called it a succession discussion, which to me could have gone on a bit in a bit more detail.
Hmm.
Though on the other hand, the scene does work to set the current mood of the king. So from that perspective, quite good. But
Hmm.
yeah, so Otto Hightower wants to lock it in, but Damon is the obvious choice.
Hmm.
So he and a couple of other counselors or whatever you want to call them
Hmm.
want the king to explicitly name a successor, and they propose Rhaenyra, though not everybody at the table wants to see a girl, even though she's the firstborn, uh, to be the ruling queen. We also see that our friend Prince Damon is listening in on the
Yeah.
conversation, though he's not in the room.
Hmm.
And the king does make a few good does have a few good lines, things like I will not be forced to choose between my brother and my daughter and things like that.
Hmm.
And that his brother has doesn't have the ambition for the throne,
Hmm.
which I'm not 100% convinced of.
Yeah.
Um,
Otto says he has ambition, but I mean, he's kind of trying to like convince Viserys that Daemon is a bad guy. Again, I mean, he's evil because he kills people, but I don't think he is like he wants to like. I don't think it's his goal to kill people or anything. I think.
I don't think he's plotting for the throne.
Mhm.
I do think he's expecting the throne the way things have turned out so far.
Mhm.
But I don't think he's actively plotting against his brother at this point in time.
No. No.
And I think Hightower's more plotting against Daemon and maybe the king, but at least against Daemon to position himself better for whatever the future brings.
Yeah, I think he just wants. I think what we see later on, of course, is that he wants his daughter to be the king's new wife and give him a son.
Hmm.
I think that's what he is kind of hoping for, and
Hmm.
so maybe that's why he's afraid
Hmm.
to make Daemon officially the next heir.
Hmm.
Uh, although,
Because this is where the king storms out, and then we get to that next scene where
hmm
we've got her and her dad talking, where we get the confirmation that they're family because so far they hadn't mentioned it yet. There were some, context clues, but explicitly it hadn't been said yet.
is
And
it?
then, yeah, they hadn't mentioned it yet.
I deduced it because I knew the names Alicent Hightower. So I guess
Yeah.
they should have made it clear
I'm still
earlier then.
absorbing the names, but I think it came through in the tourney scene where the Damon is asking then for her blessing, and the way she looks at Otto, I'm like,
Ah,
she's
yeah.
gonna be the
Also,
daughter.
there,
Yeah,
yeah. What other reason would there be for her to be on the royal seat, right? Uh,
because she's the princess's companion.
yeah, but still, no, it's not enough, I think.
I think it is, but the princess's companion is always the daughter of an important
Yeah,
lord.
mostly, I guess.
So, but yeah, so she goes to the king and she's brought a book, and he has the most awesome miniature
Yeah,
ever.
the king should really do something else but be king. He could like make awesome sculptures or stuff. I think
Hmm.
they kind of want to like that was kind of a way to a little way to show that yeah, so sometimes you're not meant to be
Hmm.
doing something even though everyone wants you to do something.
And he wanted to do it
Hmm?
because he was one of 14 people who wanted to success his father.
I don't think he had I don't think he felt like he had any choice in the matter because he was his father's oldest son at that point,
Hmm.
and I'm not sure actually why they were kind of having the discussion. I think because Rhaenys was his, I
She
don't,
was the eldest,
she was the
uh,
oldest,
but
right?
she was a woman, and not everybody in the kingdom
Yeah,
thought it was a good idea for a woman. So he thought, I'll do it via this whole conclave thing
yeah,
so that the kingdom remains together.
yeah, yeah.
I
Okay.
think
Yeah,
that's a bit what
yeah,
I
you're
think.
right. I think you're right. Um, but yeah, I don't think Viserys had any choice, honestly, at that point.
Yeah, once you're named there, it's too late to back out.
Yeah, but even before that, I think
Mm.
in that kind of situation,
Hmm.
as I don't think he felt like he had.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll tell us more about it. Who knows?
So
Uh,
one question about the scene: what was the king doing with the ring, and what ring was that? Was that his wife's ring, or what ring was that?
I would assume that was his wife's ring. Yeah, I didn't
Because
actually
he,
think on it, but I would
yeah, he was
assume.
looking at it. He kissed it. He wrapped it in a tissue, and then he did something with the miniature with that ring.
Oh, really?
And I didn't completely get what he was doing or
Well,
catch what he was doing. I missed it.
yeah, I couldn't tell you. Maybe it's good that you tell me now. Maybe it comes up later in some
Mm,
way. I don't think it's a magical ring or anything, but who
mm,
knows? Maybe it, 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 yeah, I don't
yeah.
know.
But that's about the only thing I still have to say. As far as I know, they don't have sex.
No, no,
I
no,
think.
no, 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 no. I don't think
So,
Viserys is the kind of guy who would. I think he was actually loyal to his wife,
his wife?
which
Maybe.
most kings I don't think are. So I think he's in that way, he's a good guy, and I don't think he would have sex with
Mm. At,
yeah, a
at least,
questionable age girl.
mhm.
Uh,
At least our previous king clearly wasn't.
Yeah, no. Uh,
But yeah, not a lot to say. We cut to Damon at an orgy in the whorehouse with all his men having sex and him sitting at the table drinking, being a bit despondent,
yeah,
getting drunk clearly.
yeah,
But yeah, he's gonna give a speech
yeah.
where apparently, and I did like that reveal is that we don't hear the speech.
Mm-hmm,
We cut to the aftermath where Orto's reporting on the speech. And
mm-hmm.
then we learn he called the dead son um, heir of a day or
Air
something.
for the yeah,
Yeah.
which is
So
yeah, questionable, but kind of in
yeah.
line with Damon's impulsive nature. Kind of doesn't know what to do
Hmm.
with himself.
Yeah.
Um,
And then we get the scene with Damon and the king at the Iron Throne.
which was also one of the best scenes.
Yes, yes, they really both put their positions there. And I kind of follow what Damon was saying, but yeah, his brother is king. So there are certain expectations there. And
Hmm
yeah, he's no longer the heir. He needs to go back to Runestone, it's what it's called, to his wife,
Yeah,
because the king has chosen an heir. So
yeah.
Daemon's no longer heir apparent.
hmm
And yeah, my thought is okay, so the games begin. Now we'll get into medieval fantasy politics a lot, probably.
Yes, well, I do hope so. That was a good part about Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I do think this whole episode was. I mean, I wanna kind of hang on in this scene because I really
Mm-hmm.
liked it. I do think this whole episode was kind of carried by the King's acting. He was really good. Every scene he
Yeah,
was in.
but I have to say I liked everybody so far.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm saying is, yeah, Matt Smith didn't really bring an air of menace,
Mm-hmm.
but he did give me a bit of feeling that he's a bit unhinged, so that might actually build up to more. But so far, I'm still a bit wondering how much of it is him playing up and how much of it is the prince actually being that brutal. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, I don't get the idea that again that the uh, prince wants to be or feels like he's a bad guy. I think he.
But nobody thinks they're a bad guy.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
but
the whole point.
yeah, true. But I mean, I think he genuinely wants to help, but he's kind of like a
A
failure.
psychopath. Yeah.
No, just a failure. Maybe he tries too hard and does things the wrong way, even though his intentions are good.
He's
Uh,
just overprivileged,
yeah,
basically.
maybe he should have had a little bit more. They all could have used a little bit more guidance from yeah anyone really because they are making stupid decisions, all of them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I do want to see more of the queen who never was, because we know she has an eldest son already.
hmm
So for sure, we now have three siblings,
Yeah.
all a bit in that same jockeying position.
Yeah.
Because our current king will want to secure the throne for his daughter.
hmm
We know Daemon, probably in addition, by being hurt by his brother now, is gonna create those ambitions for the throne, even if it's possible he didn't have them before. But again, I'm not
I'm not
100%
sure. I
convinced.
don't think Damon himself is gonna like try and get the throne, but I think he will be used
Oh yeah,
because
but I
as a
think all of them will be used.
yeah. Well, Rainey seems like the smartest out of the three siblings.
Yes, but she's also perfectly placed to be played by the High Towers. Huh?
Rhaenys, or do you mean?
Ah, yeah, yeah, sorry. Yeah, Rhaenys is the elder
Yeah,
sister.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay, the older sister.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I don't know there. But her husband, the black guy on the council,
Mm-hmm.
she has an eldest son, so she might just want the throne for his son. Probably will want that.
Yeah, I'm not saying that she wants a throne. I'm not sure what her intentions are
Mhm,
at this point. She seems a
mhm,
bit cynical, a bit bitter,
mhm,
very calculated. So I get the idea that she might have different ideas
mhm,
about all this. But Damon, I feel like he's just gonna continue doing what he does and doing things wrong, and people will
mhm,
use it to their advantage. And yeah.
mhm. Yeah, we did get that one scene to show that he does have a good rapport with his niece. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so maybe in the end he'll more fight for her. That I don't know.
Ah, yeah, that could be actually. Yeah,
That even though her father sent him away, that maybe she brings him back. That might also happen.
yeah, could be.
But yeah, he leaves and um, he let's just cut one scene ahead because there's a
Yeah, sure.
second good scene now. But if we cut ahead just to stick with Damon for a while, his dragon looks as mean as he acts. That's like
Oh,
the meanest dragon they've shown in this episode.
oh wait, I don't remember how he looks like. Yeah, I guess, yeah. Uh,
And yeah, his little whore friend comes and they fly off together.
yeah. I
And
wonder
then
what his wife is gonna say about that, but
I don't think his wife has a lot to say, at least based
maybe he's
on
not even
the
going to
episode.
his wife,
Yeah,
right? He might have
yeah,
just going somewhere
hmm
else.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other important scene that we just skipped is the king standing at this huge dragon skull with
Mm-hmm.
a lot of candles, cool visual.
Mm-hmm.
And he's called for his daughter, who he hasn't spoken to since before the tourney, basically.
Yeah, it seems so.
Yeah. And then he goes about it in this very roundabout way to declare her his heir.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't have a choice at this point. He was kind of like questioning her, "Oh, are you gonna give the right answers?" But and then I'll declare you my heir. But he had already sent Damon away, so it was a bit too late for the questions. But whatever.
He could still have a chat with his older sister.
Yeah, perhaps. Um,
But yeah, and then we go to the ceremony, yeah?
yeah,
And
one
that's
more
about it.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
His explanation,
Yeah,
like his prophecy thing that got
came from Aegon.
yeah there's I mean I'm not gonna go into the into
We already did it.
why there's a lot wrong with it, but
Okay.
this is I have never heard this, so this is completely invented, and I'm not sure if I really agree with where they're going with it.
It
So
was really, to me, it felt a lot like just to make sure that everybody was on board with, look, this is tied to that other show that you know and like,
yeah,
Game of Thrones, which is part of A Song and Ice and Fire, and
yeah,
winter is coming. There were like a lot of meme references in one scene.
yeah. Maybe they'll just leave it at that. I hope so. Actually, I hope they don't go any further into it. Because whatever they might do, HBO, they might in some way try to save the story of Game of Thrones by retconning stuff right now, and I hope they don't do that
But
because it's gonna
that's
fail.
hard, yeah, but that's hard with a prequel.
Yeah, yeah,
You make a weird sequel lead thing to retcon.
yeah. I
Or
mean,
you just say, oh, these, do you do the Halloween thing? You just release something new and you say, look, the last two we're gonna ignore for now.
because
They didn't happen.
yeah, but I'm really afraid they will do something like that because I forgot something. So he was also carrying a dagger, right? In
Yeah,
that
yeah,
scene. He
yeah.
was holding, and that dagger becomes very important in a Game of Thrones. I won't tell you why, but
You can't tell me why.
can I? Or
So look, I always said I'll read all of the books when he has written his last one.
okay, I can tell you
Are
then.
we sure he's ever gonna release the last one
Uh,
himself?
no, we're not sure about that.
So spoil away, I might forget by the time.
Yeah, well, so the dagger is used to actually kill one of the main. So he's talking about things that wake up in the winter or something,
Yeah,
right?
the zombie things.
Yeah, and so the dagger is used to actually kill those at the end.
Ah,
And
okay.
so they're now bringing back two things. So I really do hope they're not gonna try and save it in some kind of way.
Maybe, maybe the series gonna give us by the end the initial attack of the snow zombies. We'll have a pre-winter winter.
Uh, I really hope they don't do anything like that. Although, although one thing I have to say is I hope they manage to switch it up a little because in Game of Thrones, there were several characters we followed, right? So
Mm,
there were like the characters, the Starks who were in the north,
yeah.
and there were several places. And anytime you were like, "Oh, I'm sick of this character," there was a jump to another character that you liked. So
A bit like the Lord of the Rings books.
I guess it's also like that in the books as well.
Mm,
So I hope they manage to keep it interesting enough, this family alone, or that they're gonna bring maybe other characters. I don't know.
mhm,
Uh, so yeah,
mhm.
so then we have the coronation, I guess, or not really coronation.
Ceremony,
Yeah.
the naming ceremony, whatever you want to call it, where she's officially declared his heir.
Hmm.
And I think the only important thing to note is that all of the family names that we know, one by one, the current lords all declare their fealty to the king, and that they're gonna obey his wish,
Yeah.
that his daughter is the heir.
Yeah. So yeah, then dragon scene, and that's kind of it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So what's your first thoughts after that?
yeah, it's a bit difficult. Was Pacing was great.
Hmm.
And I really noticed pacing, so that one was very good. Um, the effects on the dragons could be a bit more, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much that costs, and I'm pretty sure it's all crazy expensive. Um,
Uh, yeah, in Game of Thrones they really minimized the dragon time
mm,
to cut costs. So I'm not really a dragon fan per se. So if they leave the dragons out, I wouldn't care.
yeah, no, but I mean just the visual,
Yeah,
the
true.
effects were
Yeah,
good, but it looked you knew in the shots you saw that there wasn't anything there that the image was placed in late. You could
yeah,
see it.
yeah,
And I'm not a purist here, but I noticed it
yeah. I
the
know.
whole time.
Yeah,
So that's what I mean.
yeah.
But in general, the story, I don't know yet. Um,
Uh-huh.
I'm not too psyched for 9 episodes of medieval fantasy politics, but if they
Okay.
take some turns that I can't see coming, they
Uh-huh.
might hook me. I need more time with these characters to actually care about anyone, because
Yeah,
that's my
of
problem at
course.
the moment. I don't care about anyone
Well,
yet.
I care about Viserys. Uh,
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 Not yet.
no.
I don't care about anyone yet.
I care
So,
about Damon too. Yeah.
yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I for sure the we know dark times are coming, so let's see where they go with that. And
Hmm. Yeah. Okay, so one more thing I wanted to start doing with these episodes is rating them out of 10, actually. Uh, don't have to elaborate too much about it. Um, do you have any number in mind, Otis?
you go first.
I would say the first episode, it's between 7 and 8. Let's say 7, uh, because of the maybe some scenes I didn't really like, and in general, it was good, but like it wasn't Game of Thrones season 1 good. So yeah, I would give it a 7.
Yeah, it'd be somewhere in between a 6 and a 7.
Mm-hmm.
So acting wise was rather good. The costumes and stuff was all very good.
That's true.
I'm a bit annoyed that it's taking so long to mention a name of a new character we see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think in overall, I'd say a 6 or 7. I mean, I didn't think it was bad, but
Yeah.
I also, you know, didn't think it was great, or even
Yeah.
good is a bit a tricky word. It's of course the first episode. I'd expect from a first episode that it would try and hook me, and there was a bit too little hook in the first episode, so that's why I'm giving
Yeah.
it, let's say, a 6.
Usually the first episode should be one of the best episodes of the season. I hope they do get better though.
I'm gonna continue,
Mm-hmm.
but that's about the most I can say at this point after one episode.
All right.
After everything we've already said, because it's been over an hour already.
Oh, has it? Okay.
It has.
Then we better, I guess. Yeah, Maedi was. Yeah, I liked it. There was like the tourney scenes I didn't like. Other than that, it was okay, and I hope they get. There's some variety in the characters and stuff that we're not always watching the royal family. But other than that, I'm looking forward to the next episode. Yeah. So if that's it, then guys, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe, like, all that. We're providing a unique view to you here with my friend who's a complete Game of Thrones fool. He doesn't know anything almost.
I
So
don't appreciate being called a fool, but okay, go ahead.
yeah, I didn't mean it that way. I couldn't find the right English word. Sorry. Um, but
Stick to noob.
noob, yeah, noob. That's better. Okay, but we'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.
Take care, everyone.